The Super El Niño Shockwave, how a global weather crisis is about to reshape your grocery cart. Every few decades, the world faces a climate event powerful enough to ripple through every layer of the global economy. This time, analysts warn that the emerging Super El Niño is not just another weather anomaly. It is a force colliding head-on with geopolitical conflict, fragile supply chains, and already strained food systems. As financial institutions like Goldman Sachs and UniCredit caution, the combination of climate disruption and fertilizer shortages could push global food commodity prices up by 15.8%, with the aftershocks lasting well into 2028. What follows is a clear, grounded narrative of how this crisis is unfolding, why it matters, and when households will feel the full weight of this global shockwave. Financial and commodity analysts are sounding alarms as the current Super El Niño intensifies, threatening to reshape global food markets for years to come. Unlike previous climate cycles, this event is colliding directly with geopolitical instability, particularly the conflict surrounding Iran and disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz. This dangerous overlap is creating a compounding effect that magnifies every weakness in the global food supply chain. According to major financial institutions, the world could see food commodity prices surge by nearly 16%, with inflationary pressure lingering through 2028. Agriculture is entering the next year facing two severe constraints at the same time. The first is the climate shock, where El Niño is rewriting rainfall and temperature patterns across continents. Regions that depend on predictable monsoon seasons are instead facing drought, while others are drowning under relentless flooding. The second is the fertilizer shock, driven by geopolitical conflict that has restricted critical trade corridors. Nitrogen-based fertilizer prices have spiked between 50 and 80%, forcing farmers to reduce nutrient usage and abandon high-yield acreage. These two forces together are creating a global supply deficit that is impossible to ignore. The commodities most at risk reflect the backbone of global calorie consumption. Rice and wheat, staples for billions, are already suffering from drier monsoon seasons in India and Southeast Asia. Exporting nations are tightening restrictions to protect domestic supply, which only amplifies global scarcity. Sugar production is plunging in India and Thailand, with yields down 20 to 30%. Much of the remaining sugar is being diverted into ethanol production, pushing prices even higher. Palm oil and cocoa are facing megadroughts in West Africa and Southeast Asia, creating immediate inflation in processed foods, cooking oils, and confectionery items. Meanwhile, grains and meat are caught between deluges in the American South and severe heat stress on livestock worldwide. Feed costs are rising sharply, and dairy and poultry output is dropping in response. Economists emphasize that consumers will not feel the worst of this crisis right away. Because crops are harvested seasonally and processed months before reaching store shelves, there's a built-in lag effect. The physical scarcity farmers are experiencing today will take 6 to 12 months to fully filter through global supply chains. This means the peak of what analysts are calling climateflation will not hit grocery stores until the second half of 2027, with lingering effects stretching into 2028. In the United States, grocery inflation is expected to rise an additional 2.5% to 4% by mid-2027, reversing recent cooling trends and pushing food prices back toward record highs. Several grocery aisles will feel the pressure more than others. The bakery and cereal aisle face high inflation risk as wheat and sugar shortages deepen. Bread, crackers, baked goods, and cereals will steadily climb in price as global exporters restrict shipments. The meat and dairy case will also tighten. While heavy rainfall in the American South may temporarily improve cattle pastures, it is simultaneously disrupting grain harvests. Rising corn and soy feed costs, combined with heat-stressed livestock in the Midwest, will push wholesale prices for beef, chicken, milk, and cheese higher by early next year. The produce section will experience extreme volatility. Florida and California supply a massive share of America's winter fruits and vegetables, and both regions are vulnerable to El Niño's heavy rainfall and flooding. Shoppers can expect sudden, localized shortages and sharp price spikes for strawberries, tomatoes, bell peppers, and citrus fruits. The baking and condiment aisle will face sustained high prices due to global sugar deficits and historic cocoa droughts. Anything containing sweeteners or chocolate, from candy and soda to baking ingredients, we'll see unprecedented inflation. The timeline for these changes is already taking shape. By late 2026, fresh produce prices will spike first as winter storms disrupt Florida's growing season. By mid-2027, the full force of global grain, sugar, and livestock feed shortages will hit the center aisles of grocery stores. This period will mark the peak of the El Niño inflation cycle, with households feeling the cumulative impact of climate shocks, fertilizer shortages, and geopolitical instability. As this Super El Niño continues to unfold, it is becoming clear that the world is entering a period of profound agricultural and economic stress. The combination of climate extremes, fertilizer shortages, and geopolitical conflict is reshaping the global food landscape in ways that will be felt from international markets to local grocery aisles. While the worst effects will take time to reach consumers, the trajectory is already set: higher prices, tighter supplies, and a renewed awareness of how fragile the global food system truly is. Understanding the forces at play today will help households prepare for the challenges of tomorrow. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who wants to stay ahead of the coming shifts in our food system. The Super El Niño is already reshaping global agriculture, and the more informed we are, the better prepared we'll be when these changes reach our grocery stores. Stay tuned for clearer, grounded updates on how climate and economics are shaping the world around us.